Hey folks, welcome back. It's been a rather busy day. I got home, I don't know, it was like 1 something this morning. Once I got everything done, I didn't get it back inside until about 3:30, and by 4 o'clock this morning, I finally went to bed. So, and I slept in this morning, I got up at 6:45. And it's been non-stop ever since. So, I posted a video a little bit earlier. I can't remember what I called it. Something like the wild and not so wild garden. What I normally do, folks, is I plant what I like to eat. I plant what I like to help sustain myself if it ever came down to having to feed myself on what I've got or what I have access to that's growing in the area, different seasons. Sometimes I'll put them in my garden. Sometimes I'll have a plot by themselves. Same with like chanterelle mushrooms. Chanterelle mushrooms, it'll grow where it grows. You could have the perfect soil, the perfect environment for them, and they'll either establish themselves or they won't. So a few years ago, I took some chanterelles, tipped them upside down on the ground in a spot where it was absolutely, in my opinion, the perfect environment for them to grow. Every year, I would go back to see if anything was happening with the spores. And after the 3rd year, I just gave up until I went out there a couple weeks ago and found a pretty sizable patch of chanterelles. So I'm not sure if they just took a while to get established. I'm not sure how long spores will last. I know chanterelles like certain soils, but it likes disturbed soils. So you can oftentimes find chanterelles on like a 4-wheeler trail or a snowmobile trail where things are constantly being kicked up. And where I spread these and where I just found them was a place where the wild game comes through. So apparently the wild game kicked it up enough to finally get them established. So if there's something out in the wild that I really like, because I do a considerable, I got a goose fight. I do a considerable amount of foraging. Not as much as I used to when I was younger. A lot of your wild plants, a lot of your wild berries, you really have to know what you're doing, are really, really, really good. So if I find a patch that it takes me a long time to get to, or if it's hard traveling, me getting older and me apparently liking to fall lately, right? If I get hurt, it's someplace, it's something that I could easily get to in my yard. So I will transplant it into a spot around the yard. So basically what I'm doing is bringing the wild plants to me. Now, that's not all I do. I do it in reverse as well. Garlic. I have planted garlic out away. I have planted Egyptian walking onions out and away. I have planted the ground cherries, the pineapple tomatoes, out away, and allow them to spread in patches of their own. And then I put a note to myself where I transplanted them or where they have where they have become established, right? So I go out and transplant a lot of the wild stuff here to here, and then some of my like perennial plants that will keep reseeding themselves to some extent out. So why do I do that? It's not because I think the world has gone batshit crazy. It's not because of that. I've just been doing that for years. No matter where I lived, I would just, oh, this is a nice spot. Let me check the soil. It might be out in the woods. Well, I bet I don't have room in my garden right now, so why don't I just put some Egyptian walking onions over here, and I don't have to worry about it and let them do their thing, right? When I moved here, there wasn't a single dandelion, not a single dandelion in the yard. So I went and collected some, I call Dandelion Fluff. I collected a pile of that one year, the dandelion seed, and I waited for a breeze that was gentle and in the direction that I wanted it, and I just spread the dandelion seed. It has taken hold, but it's taken hold in the weirdest places. So dandelion still doesn't like to grow here. Not here at all. So I know where there's several patches that I can help myself to anyway, right? I went and picked blackberries this morning over coffee, and my stepdad went out by, because I had bright yellow on, he could see me, and he stopped, and I made my way to the road here, and we talked about this and that. He said, "Oh, looks like you're picking blackberries." He said, "Oh, they don't look very big." He said, "Are they even worth bothering with?" Well, yeah, they are, folks. Blackberries, and I've said this before, the lady that went out and bought all kinds of it, right, for blackberry jelly. You can have a blackberry patch that's gone completely wild, and you mow strips. Take your mulching lawnmower and just mow strips in between clumps, and then if you keep that mowed 3, 4, 5 times during the summer, and then you have a nice walking path, so you don't have to go and get all scratched up and pricked getting the blackberries, right? That's what I do. But we had quite a dry spell. They were nice, plump, and juicy, and big, the wild ones. And then we had a dry spell. It was mercifully hot, mercifully humid, and now the blackberries are stunted. They're still sweet, but the seeds are a little tough, and they're not as juicy, but they're still sweet. So I'll show you a picture of over coffee this morning what I picked. It turned out to be about 3 cups. About a cup of blackberries is a serving. A lot of nutrients, right? You could eat them as is, like I do. I've got some in my cooler. I ate about a cup. And folks, I don't do serving sizes here. If I'm hungry, I'm going to eat it, damn it. If it's not good for me and I want it, I'm going to eat it. And I guess I'm pretty healthy, right? So if I wanted 2 cups of blackberries, I would eat 2 cups of blackberries. So I've got about 2 cups left, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Maybe snack on them here and there, right? But he said that he wouldn't bother because, one, it would take too long to pick them. Well, I picked about 3 cups of blackberries and just one blackberry patch in about 10 minutes. It didn't bother me whatsoever. 10 minutes, I had to drink my coffee anyway, right? So now, I know some of you watched the video that I just put up today about some of the things, some snippets of what I have in my garden. This is an explanation as to why I have certain stuff in my garden, some explanation. And I've always been accused of mosquitoes, folks, mosquitoes. I've always been accused of growing, and it's a compliment. They say it as a compliment, and I take it as a compliment. You grow the weirdest stuff here. You grow the strangest plants. I've been gardening all my life, and I've never heard of this plant and that plant. So there's a nice conversation ensues, right? I don't go out of my way to buy odd or weird plants. A lot of things that I grow here are from articles that I've come across from in magazines or whatnot. Like, there's a guy who lives about through the woods about a mile from here. Nice guy, nice guy. Him and his wife live quite a bit similar to the way I do here. And he lent me a book that he thought I might enjoy reading, but he really didn't know if I would enjoy it or not. But there was two things that I got out of that book. One was wild rice, which I keep going back and forth whether I want wild rice here or not. I really do keep going back and forth, folks. And the other one was Yakon, Yakon. And the Yakon sounded really, really enticing to me. So I did some more research, and then I got online to figure out if I could buy them and if they would grow up here. Well, they're originally from, I think, Peru, a whole different grow zone. But with the research that I found that I can grow them here, I just have to bring them in and let them go dormant, but not freeze, and then bring them back out and put them back in the garden the next spring. So Yakon is one that I'm gonna say lately I've been saying pre-COVID, right? Before COVID, you could get them offline at Walmart for $4.98 each, and they were a nice, healthy starter plant. Well, I bought 4 of them, and then they grew, even for Maine in its short season, they grew fantastic, folks. And I fell right in love with the tubers, because it's not like you can go down to your local Hannaford or IGA or your local store and go to the produce section and find Yakon. We just don't carry it up here. A lot of people don't even know what it is. They've never heard of it, never seen it, never tasted it, right? So this year I had a late start on my Yakon, and let me tell you, folks, you want to have a handful of change when you buy, if you're thinking about buying Yakon, because they have way increased their price on Yakon, right? I mean, insanely. And do not get the seed, folks. Do not get the little tiny pea-side tubers. They won't handle shipping. Trust me. So, I do grow a lot of things. I have what they call duckweed. Some of you are probably familiar with duckweed. I have duckweed growing in the bog. I did not put it there. I hemmed and hawed for many years on whether I should establish duckweed in that bog. It seems I have ducks and geese. Duckweed is something that has a lot of high protein, and humans, we can eat duckweed as well and get a lot of nutrition from them, especially protein, right? So I was walking the other day and I saw the birds, the ducks, going right to town feeding on something. I thought they found a sizable a sizable area of mosquito larvae. So I went to the edge of the bog, and in amongst the grasses in the bog, there's duckweed. How it got here, I don't know. Maybe the high water from wherever this water source comes from. I had never known of any duckweed in this water source anywhere, above or below. So, but now that I've got it, and I'm kind of happy for it. Duckweed, if you don't know what duckweed is, there's a few varieties. Duckweed it multiplies, it doubles itself every day. Animals can eat it, humans can eat it, and it's a wild food. So it's something that, again, something that's out there, available to help self-sustain. So if the world goes even more batshit crazy, we can always eat duckweed in here, right? So anyway, the mosquitoes are pretty lively. I am going to, this is my in-between time. Kind of too tired to do anything, too late to start anything, and the birds are thinking about putting themselves to bed. So this is my downtime. This is when I usually eat. So maybe I'll eat. Maybe I'll probably just grab an apple. Probably. Maybe some grapes. I don't know. All right. Bye-bye.